Welcome to the Leader More podcast. Our motive is to pass on what we've found helpful over the years through leading teams, running operations, and dealing with life's challenges. We hope you enjoy.
That's funny. Johnny Fisher, welcome, mate.
Thanks for having me.
I've been looking forward to talking to you. One, because you're a barrel of laughs. That's the one thing. I'm smiling already. But secondly, too, so you were one of the co-directors at Trevors Carpets in Willetton. You got a bit of a team in there, and I imagine dealing with customers face to face. There's plenty going on. Did you start always in sales, like from school, or?
Well, let's go back to the start. You may need to give your counsellor a bit of a call just to book in an appointment for next week after this one.
I'll have some collateral damage if you
Let me know if you need some mouth-to-mouth or something. Mate,
oh, well, yeah, I hope not.
My beginnings, I've got a brother, two brothers and a sister. Mum and dad grew up in Langford. Lived in a little old house there and, just an average family. A couple of rat bag kids, like myself. Just did the usual thing. And then sort of floated through school, liked playing sports with my friends, hanging out with my mates, having a laugh. That was the one thing I knew early on. And then getting to high school. High school was, that was an interesting one for mum and dad with me and my brother, Troy. We were just average kids that just like having a good time, just doing the usual stuff. But I did remember early on that I don't think I was going to like school.
Why is that? Rules and sitting down and focusing?
It was probably more the study and the homework and all that sort of it. I loved going there for my friends. I loved making the teachers laugh. I loved having a good time. But the study thing probably wasn't the...
Didn't come the easiest for you.
Yeah, so I loved the sports. That was good. Got to a stage where we get to like year 11 and I still had another year to go. And that's when mum and dad said, look, you're only just sort of scraping through with your grades. Did you want to go back to school? I did at the time. I just wanted to say that I finished year 12, but it kind of pushed in a direction I think it's probably best to go out and into the workforce.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and what did you do first off?
First off, I was a store cleaner at Target and Carousel.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my very first job. Dad always told me from a young age, and when I was getting to that stage especially, look, you don't need school to have a good life, but it is good if you do try your hardest. One thing I can advise you is if you've got a good heart and you're kind to a lot of people and you've got a good, strong work ethic, you can go a long way. So that was probably the only thing I ever took seriously from my dad. Yeah. He was a great fella. Like, Dad came from a family of 10. He was the eldest out of 10 kids.
Okay.
An old Dutchman. And he had it tough. His dad was a school teacher. So back in those days, there was no such thing as soft discipline back then. So he copped it when all the other kids were getting in trouble.
Yeah.
So he was hard on us, my brother and I. We were scared of him. He never ever raised his hand at us. He didn't need to. He just knew. I didn't want to get him past that. Whereas my mum, she was like the helicopter with a belt. She would just... Here's a funny story, actually, before we get into this. Just one thing I'll never forget. Mum was the discipliner with the belt. We had this white belt with a pattern on that my dad used to wear. And she still has it, funny enough. Okay. And shows us every now. Yeah. Every time I see it. She used to use that on my brother and I. We were, probably deservingly, disciplined.
Yeah.
But it was horrible. She wouldn't care if the buckle was out or if the thing, it was just the way it was back then. Yeah. So you can't do that for obvious reasons these days, although sometimes I do question. But my dad, when we'd given my mum so much heat for the last couple of days, and she got onto my dad's case and said, you need to give him a smack. So he said he didn't want to do it. And he said to her, okay, all right, you coming in first, John. So he's taking me into the room with the belt. what he didn't know was my mum crept around the outside of the house and was peeking through the window. And he said, look, I'm just going to hit the bed, make a big noise. I just want you to scream, okay? So he was hitting the bed, and I was doing these ridiculous screams, like, I'll do it in here if it's not too loud.
There you go.
And then, making a song and dance. And then she saw everything that had gone on.
Watching you two idiots playing.
And then we came out of the room and she was, give me the belt back. My dad got in more trouble than I did. He copped it for so many weeks after that.
Yeah.
So
so mum was the strict one, and
she was strict.
And dad was.
She was very loving and she was very fair, but she was like the one I was really scared of.
Yeah.
But that's the way it was. So my first introduction to work was Target Carousel. I was a store cleaner.
Yeah.
So I was only 17, 18. Went for an interview. They gave me an interview. I must have done okay. Said, okay, when can you start? Okay, Monday morning. All right, turned up there. My very first day, and I'll never ever forget this, of my very first ever job was a lady with a small baby in a pram. The baby had done a number 2 in his nappy. She had just thrown it on the floor. All right, this is exactly what happened. And someone had accidentally stepped in that and walked around the carpet in the whole store. So there was poo footprints everywhere. My job the first day was to scrub all that on my hands and knees. Here's me wearing this beautiful shirt and a tie, wearing the black pants and the nice shoes. And that's where it all started from there.
Yeah.
I scrubbed it, but it was the worst thing I've ever done. I just can't believe I was doing that. And I was praying no one I knew came into that store and see me doing it. But what it did is all the managers in that store and all the people absolutely sort of loved me because no one else was going to do it. So it started from there. So I thought, okay, this is not too bad. So I'll just run with this. It's only a store cleaner job. So I had this little bin with the wheels like a little trolley, and I had a little squirty gun to clean the mirrors. So I would wait for a call, like if there's been a spill over in aisle 3 or something like that, I'd be over there straight away. And then I'd be cleaning whatever it was. Excellent job. I loved it. And then eventually, by working hard, I progressed up the ladder a bit. I went from store cleaner to a sports assistant in the sports section.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is going to be great. What a career. This is going to be so awesome. Sports gear, cricket gear, all that sort of thing. And then I soon realised that it probably wasn't the job for me because there really wasn't much entailed. I mean, I totally respect the people that work in retail. It's just such an interesting place to work regarding the types of things you have to do and where you start from and things like that. I mean, I can go to Target Carousel now and I'm the easiest person to sell to. I'm so bad. I feel because I'm putting myself in the position of that person that's helping someone.
You know what it's like.
They could sell me a pair of underpants with lots of holes in it, and I'm taking it. And not saying that I have a lot of pairs of underpants with holes. So that's kind of where it started. From there, I ended up becoming a storeman. From there, progressed to the back, unloading trucks.
Okay. Yeah.
Getting stock ready and all that sort of thing. And then, after about a year and a half, I thought there's pretty much done everything. I couldn't get a manager's role. You have to be there years and years. And I ended up getting an interview with another crowd that was a storeman doing engine parts over in Wembley. And this is back in the day when, we didn't have e-bikes or e-scooters. I had a BMX. I used to ride my bicycle from Langford all the way to Wembley.
Wembley.
Yeah, this is how my fitness sort of kind of started.
Would have been, a good hour?
Hour and a half?
At least.
On a BMX.
No kids.
No kids. Yeah. It was incredible. So I did that for a good year. And then I kind of just fell out of favour with the people working there because I was just bored. There was like older people there, and I was just packing stuff up and putting them in shelves. And I really wanted to become like a sales rep. Like they had these guys working in the front office and they were selling the engine parts. And that's where I wanted to go. I guess if I'd have stuck around a bit longer, they probably may have trained me up at some stage. But, when you're 18, 19...
You're in a hurry.
You're not thinking that. All I'm thinking about is getting paid on a Friday, training just when I first started playing rugby league when I was 18.
Yeah.
And playing on the weekends and then coming back and the money was just a vehicle to get me to wherever I wanted to go. So I realised being a storeman, packing things, it just wasn't for me. I liked talking to people. I liked being around people. I liked making people laugh. I liked them making me laugh. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what it's like.
That interaction. Yeah.
I started mucking around a lot at work, because I didn't take it serious. We had those, I don't know if they still do that. You know those clocks that you punch in? I was getting someone else to punch in for me because I was coming back late from lunch. So I met some people around the corner from Subiaco and I was having long lunches coming back. Eventually the big boss there, he ended up finding out that something's not lining up here with the time you're here. So there was no, 3 chances and you're out. It was,
you were done.
You're gone. You're cooked. I was too scared to tell my parents because getting fired was, and especially with you heard the story about my mum and the belt. I just couldn't stomach that again. So I actually told them I went on holidays, like 3 weeks holidays. So while I was on holidays, I went for another interview for a lab technician making prosthetics and orthotics, corrective foot devices.
Okay.
I didn't get the job. I didn't get it. So I ended up selling vacuum cleaners. You heard of a Kirby vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah. My wife got sold one back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Could have been me. Could have been me.
It may well. It had all the bits and it was this heavy thing.
Yeah.
It vacuumed well.
You still got it?
No, I think we got rid of it, but
wow.
it did a good job. It lasted a while. It was just a monster.
They really suck.
Yeah.
And they blow as well. There's an attachment on it. They're really good. So
I remember.
I went for this thing I'd seen in the paper. They were invited a big group of people to go to this, it was almost like a classroom at this building, and all these people filtered in there. And I'm still new. I'm still fresh to the workforce. We all sit down, and this guy just starts talking about stuff, like a vacuum cleaner, and he was just going on, and he must have had a script behind this box where the vacuum cleaner was in. And then he just kept talking, and then he was talking about how this thing works, and he put it all together, showed it working and stuff like that, and then started talking about how you get paid from selling these. And then by this stage, it was about an hour into it, about 15 people had walked out, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm ready to go, but I don't have a job to go to. I need to just hang around a little bit longer. So it was down to me and another 5 other people that were still in there.
Yeah, the last survivors.
I stuck it out to the end, man, yeah. So
you got that, yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of it, I was probably like the last of 3 people that didn't walk out. So I got the job. So I felt so special.
That's a pretty good recruitment process, isn't it? We'll get everyone in and we'll see who can take it for the longest. They're the most resilient. We'll keep them. Yeah. Or the most desperate. One of the two.
Exactly what happened. Yeah. And it was the strangest job I've ever taken on. It was the most weirdest setup I've ever been accustomed to.
Yep.
It was like my first day there. They give you a passport, a Kirby passport. It looks like a real passport, right? And you open it up, it's got the Icebreaker Award. That's for your very first sale, and you get it stamped once you've sold one. We're talking about $5,000 machines that you can't sell that in a shop. You cannot put that on a shelf. Everyone's going to walk past it. So you have to show it off and all about its features. So you got to learn about it. It's almost like becoming a mechanic that can sell a really good car, except for it's a vacuum cleaner. Yeah, that cleans your carpet and your furniture. So I got good at taking it apart, putting it back together, cleaning it and everything like that. And then the way how we got the sales was there was someone in another office who would ring cold call people and tell them they've just won. Oh my God, you're the 1,000th person we've just called and you've just won yourself a free demonstration clean at your house. And then they would line up someone like me who was in a van dropped off directly to this person's house with all the vacuum cleaner, and I had to do a presentation exactly the same way that guy showed me in that classroom. Okay. And there was a script. It was about this thick, and you'd take this vacuum cleaner out of the box. Oh, you wouldn't take it out of the box. You would open the box lid up, and everything's sitting in this narrow box. and then you're taking things out one at a time, and the script is sitting on inside the lid of the box, and you're just reading what it says on there. These little things, I actually thought to myself, this is just like acting. I was really good at drama. That's one thing I was good at school. I loved drama. That was one of my favourite things.
Yeah, okay.
And some of the lines, it was so funny. And still to this day,
You remember them?
I remember some of them, and I'm going to quote some of them. And one of my mates who's probably going to watch this podcast is going to laugh his ass off. You'd go through this whole process of selling and showing this thing off. And the idea was to make the person in their house feel like they're living on dirty carpet or a dirty couch. It's kind of scare tactics to get this machine in their house and sell it. So you would have this white filtration pads, and you'd stick it into the machine, and you'd vacuum clean, and you pull it out, and it comes out black. And it would do it on anyone's carpet, regardless how clean it was. So what you're doing is you're throwing these pads everywhere. So by the end of the presentation, there is like 100 white circular pads that are completely black all around their house. And they're like sitting around, like, I can't believe I'm living in this. Where do I sign? Yeah, sign here, press hard, 3 copies.
Yeah.
You know, but it was so funny. There was a particular line I can never ever forget, and I still use it. Part of the demonstration was cleaning a bed mattress, because Kirby's are really good for cleaning bed mattress.
Okay.
They're an industrial machine. They still use them in hotels and things like that for that particular
Purpose.
Bed mattresses can get really quite dirty, even without seeing anything on there. You got dead skin and stuff like that, and dust mites and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Listen to me selling it. That's so good. Have you got one? Yeah. Do you want another one? But part of the demonstration was vacuum cleaning the end of their bed and then pulling out those pads and showing them. So a lot of people get put off, like going into someone's room and asking them to pull the sheets back. So what we would do is say, look, excuse me, Mrs. Smith, with your permission, would it be okay if I try vacuum cleaning the end of your bed? And just before they say, you say, hang on, will the cord reach? And they forget about the first question, and they go, the cord will reach. That was my prompt to put that straight into the wall, and you're in that room.
Yeah.
It's like little things like that. I loved stuff like that. Like make them think about something else for that millisecond, and then you're doing something else that they didn't really want you to do.
Yeah.
And the next thing you're walking out counting the dollars coming out of the house. You're like, no.
Yeah. How was your first icebreaker?
This is even funnier. The icebreaker award, because it was so strange. You come back to the office the next day, and it was like you start at 2:00. You don't start in the morning. You just start at 2:00, and then you go for a briefing at the office, and then you load up in the van, and then you're off. And you do these presentation things at nighttime, because that's when everyone's home. But you come back to the office, and that little icebreaker award, they bring it out, and they're going to give you like a bit of a they're going to recognise you for that first sale. Yeah. You got all these people. It's like going to church. They actually have a book of hymns for Kirby back then. And we would stand there. We'd all have to stand up. I'm looking around at all these people, and we're all standing up. And then there's all these hymns.
What's this cult? Yeah.
They play this music, and there was like an overhead projector back in the day, and they had the words. And I'm looking around, there's people singing to this and smiling and so proud. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. So anyhow, I sang every song. It was just one of the best parts of the job. Where else can you sing and not get in trouble? It's so funny. I just couldn't believe it. I was telling all my mates when I got home from work, what I did today. They just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. Singing songs. And it went right up to the Diamond Award. And
okay. Yeah. How long did you last doing that?
I lasted about 3 months.
Yeah.
I got a call back from the lab technician job, because the guy they hired didn't work out. So I jumped into that role straight away. There was a podiatrist, an old guy that owned this laboratory, and there was about 5 of us, including myself, that worked there, and we were responsible for making casts, plaster casts, and correcting feet, and then making these orthotics, and then sending them back. Did that for 9 years. That taught me a lot. There was... it was like a small family. It was so good. There was no interaction with the outside public. It was just doctors and podiatrists would send these casts, these negative molds, and they do around your arm, and they'd have like a little prescription form, and we'd follow that on how to correct these orthotics, and then it goes back into athlete's shoes, people's shoe, all sorts of conditions, and it just helped people walk better.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it was we were all close, because that's all who we saw every day.
Well, I was going to say, like you were saying with school, and you were saying with like that sales role, like you can see you light up, right? When you're talking about people and you're getting out and about and you're doing that social sort of stuff. But if you're stuck in one place, but you stayed there for 9 years, like what was so good that made you?
It was the humour and the comedy, and you couldn't get away with what we did back then in today's workplace. This is why I'm saying so funny. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell some of these stories. There was everything went, and it was horrible, but it was good. It was not wholesome, but it was fun, and it was so much laughter. The old guy that worked there, who was one of the head podiatrists in Perth, and he used to get students coming in once a week as part of their course to learn podiatry, and you'd have us guys, working on the machines and grinding plastic and stuff like that, and he'd be explaining to them all the processes of making orthotics and things like that. So when he's talking to them and their back is turned towards me, doing these ones, or my pants is around my ankles, wiggling my bum.
So you still had audience opportunity.
Yeah. I'd get my pants up before they turn around. And then my boss, he loved it. And he said that's probably what kept him in the job so long himself. He would come up to me in front of me, excuse me for a second, and he would walk up to me, come here. And he'd bring me over, I'd come over, and he'd grab me by the ear. Said, oh, look, he's being a little bit cheeky while you're not looking. I'm just going to put him outside. Yeah. And stuff like that. It was just, and much worse than that as well, funny enough. But there was some things that we did. Like there was a guy that started with us a few years after me, and the first job you learn is like a delivery man comes to the door, and they have this box, and inside there might be a big box of, say, 10 casts of pairs of feet that the podiatrist has sent to us, and it would be packed full of foam. It was like, okay, the new guy, welcome to the park, because I had to go through it, so I'm going to get the next guy. So I would get a box when he's not looking the night before, and I would fill it up with foam, and I would put something that's very unpleasant in there, the most worst imaginable thing you can possibly think. I'd seal it all up with tape so no smells could get out, and then I'd wait till the delivery man comes in, the courier, and it would come in, get delivered, and bang, I'd go, Shane, this is an urgent rush. The podiatrist wants this one quick. They used to send us rush jobs all the time. You need to jump on this straight away, mate. We haven't got time to muck around. Client needs it back. Mm-hmm. He'd come in. He would slice with a razor, like a cutting
Stanley
box
knife.
cutter.
Yeah.
And as soon as that seal's broken, there's a smell coming out. He said, oh, did someone do this? I said, oh, I'm really sorry, that was me. And my boss is holding his nose, like there's tears coming out of his eyes, hiding behind a bench. Yeah. And I'm pretending, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I had a really hot curry last night and my stomach's very upset. He'd open that up and he'd put his hands in there to grab the cast, and what he grabbed was not very pleasant at all. Yeah, okay. Can you imagine if something like that happened in this day and age? How could people get away with stuff like that back then?
It comes up a lot, Johnny. Like people. It's one you figure out. It's one thing to have a profession that you enjoy, right? Yeah. But the big thing is the environment that you work in. Like you can study for a while and I don't know, be a physio, and you love being a physio, but you can be in the worst environment. It's like, oh, I don't want to work there. That's terrible. Yeah. But like that environment stuff is really important. I think it gets downplayed a lot. And yeah, you're right. It's very politically correct these days, but
we had
fun.
It was fun, but we had one guy. He didn't like all the carry on. We did it a bit too much, and he would beat us with a wire brush, cleaning and you'd get beaten about the head with a wire brush. And there's an Italian guy that worked with me. He was the funniest guy. He's still the funniest guy I know. I'm going to see him tomorrow for State of Origin. Yeah, we've had a bet going ever since the early 90s. Yeah, this guy would hit us with the wire brush to settle us down and get us back to work. And there'll be blood coming out of our head with little spots of blood everywhere.
And this is what, early 90s?
Early 90s.
Early 90s, yeah, not long ago, really, when you think about it.
After I left that job, I realised nothing is going to shock me anymore. So I had to put my big man pants on and a belt and okay, I can't do that anymore. That's just not on.
Yeah.
So from that point, that job there led me to making surfboards. So from lab technician to making surfboards, I did that for a couple of years. We had a shark attack many years ago to an old fella swimming on Cottesloe. His name was Ken Crew. And then after that attack, the sales actually went down at this factory I worked at. I worked with these South African people that own the business, and they were talking about moving the operation to over East. And they asked me if I wanted to go with. And I considered, I've got my family here and all my friends, so I stayed.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, my first time in my life, I was actually on the dole. It's the first time I ever claimed a check.
Yeah,
I got my first check, and then someone knocked on my door. It was like in the middle of the day, and it was a fella that was selling Foxtel cable TV. And he came in. I was in love with rugby league at the time. I was, a few years into it, and I wanted to watch it on TV. So I said, "Hey, how much does it cost, all this sort of thing?" He went through it all. I said, "Fantastic, nice fella, really good." I said, "How do I get a job like yours?" He said, "Oh, look, they're doing an intake in another week. Why don't you come down and put yourself in?" I said, "Oh, my God, here we go into another classroom." That's exactly what happened. I went to another intake, went to a classroom, and these people just talked about TV. And then they talked about what the role involved. I was one of the last three that stuck around again. Yeah, I was so resilient. I'm so resilient. Got the job, and they got me a nice shirt and a badge and mobile phone. I'd never had a mobile phone before. There was like the size of thumb got sitting there. Should have seen the size.
Yeah.
And they gave me a wage every week plus commission. And I thought, wow, this is pretty good. And we were only working from 2 o'clock to 8. You're not allowed to knock on someone's door after 8 o'clock. It's against the law.
Okay.
So they gave you like a sheet of paper like this one with an allocation of streets and numbers. And it was all the places that don't have Foxtel. And because it was reasonably new still, a lot of the doors hadn't been knocked. So when you go to a door, people are excited about it. Oh, wow, yes, I want that. Get it in. And the only ones that didn't really want it were a lot of the wives that were at home on their own sometimes. So you try and time it so when dad's coming home or husband's coming home from work, that was the thing I worked out. So when they got home, and if she's shooing me away, "Can you go away? I don't want my husband to see you," because I've got brochures and all sorts of stuff. I would give it to the kids that are playing out on the street. Like, "Where do you live?" "Oh, do you live there?" "Yep." "Give this to your dad when he comes home." Or I'd accidentally drop one into the boat outside on the driveway, so he would see that. It's got a card and everything attached to it. "Oh, I've got a brochure of yours. It's in my boat." Foxtel, yeah, I'm looking at.
So you would have calls like,
Yeah, that's how I started, like little things like that. That was awesome, that job, because we were making more money than the people behind the doors, but they thought we were just lowlifes, just knocking on, trying to sell them something. Because we were getting this is what, year 2000? Year 2000, I was getting $150 per sale for one sale, plus my wage every week.
Yeah.
So it was worth your while if you got, say, 10 sales per week. It's like on top of your wage, plus your phone getting paid, and you're only working 4 hours a day. So it was really good. However, the negative side of that was how many no's you've got on the door.
Yeah, okay.
So the no's, all those no's, it sort of built you. Like you were used to all the rejections. You learned how to combat those on the door. "Oh, we don't really watch TV at home. Oh, do you mind if I buy that off you?" Stuff like that. "Oh, no, we really watch documentaries. This Foxtel has amazing documentary channels." And I'll go through all that sort of stuff. It was always an angle.
But you enjoyed that, figuring that out and understanding people in ways, like the little boat idea and that's good.
Oh, there's one story that we're almost at Trevors carpets. I'm sorry, we might not have enough time to do this.
No, mate.
But there was one particular story working down in Mandurah. It was a really hot day. My van manager, Drizzy, he dropped me off, and it was a house full of bikies.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't remember what group they were. Anyhow, they're seeing the Foxtel man. They didn't have Foxtel. "Come in." This big fellow that answered the door, he was huge.
Yeah.
A big, massive beard. He said, "Come in. We want Foxtel." I said, "Okay, yeah, no dramas." Came in. Sit down, relax. So yeah, beautiful. I said, would you like a drink? I said, oh, it is hot outside. Yeah, I'd love a drink. I'm thinking water or maybe a glass of Coke or something. Jack Daniels and cola. Straight on the table. It wasn't a small glass. It was one of those ones with a handle like a mug. A glass.
Yeah.
So it was filled right up. So right, you can drink with us. We're going to buy Foxtel. He had 5 of his mates in there at the time.
Yeah.
And they all wanted it. So not only did I get that particular house, I got all the homes where these guys lived that weren't on my allocation, which is totally okay.
Yeah.
But I had to endure a few things while I was there. So it was in the middle of the day. This guy had a snake. He had like an aquarium with a pet snake.
Okay.
It was a tiger snake. And he said, oh, have you seen my tiger snake? I said, well, no. He said, you want to see it? I said, yeah, okay.
Do I get a choice?
Yeah. No choice, yeah. I'm not saying no to a fella like that.
5 of them.
Yeah, 5 of them. And let me just tell you, that house was immaculate. It was so clean. Yeah. There was actually a Harley parked inside on the lounge, but it looked brand new. It looked like a showroom. These guys were really tidy, eh? They knew their stuff.
Yeah.
So he said, look, it's funny that you've turned up right now. It's actually feeding time for the snake. I said, oh, really? He says, what do you feed it? I said, oh, we feed it mice. Do you want to feed it a mouse? I said, no. I'm okay. I'm good, man. So, well, I'll feed it. You can just watch. He grabbed the live mouse and dropped it in and it went around like this and got it straight away. And I'm just thinking, where do I take my next line from here? How am I going to get him back onto the Foxtel thing? So he started banging on like the pet store's not selling him mice anymore because they got suspicious. So he was paying his neighbours' kids to go and buy the mice for the pet store. So, oh my God. Anyhow, I ended up getting all those sales, but by the end of it, I was so drunk because I had to drink with them. And then I rang my van manager, Swanky, I haven't heard you for ages. Where are you?
Yeah.
I said, I'm at such and such. You're still there? I said, yeah, I'm still here. Can you come pick us up? I said, oh, no, it's not time to pick up. I said, no, I'm thirsty. I need a drink, man. So he came and picked us up. What have you been doing? It's just like, why are you pissed? I know. I showed him all the sales.
Sales, yeah.
He said, that's what I love about you, Swank. It doesn't matter what you do. You do anything. You just get the job done. And then he was bagging out the other guys in the van.
This is what we need more of.
They were all low on the sales. And here's me, rolled in drunk and got all these sales. And yeah.
Those knockbacks, though, like, you know, you're a pretty optimistic fella, right?
Yeah.
But they knock you around a bit?
No, it knocked me around if you had like a week where you're not really getting many sales because you're not getting any bonus.
Yeah.
So like once you got to a certain amount of sales, the bonus actually went up by, like by $50 or $100 for each sale after that.
Okay.
So, and if you did well during the week, you would win like a promotion where you can work at like inside a shopping centre. You know how you have
I remember that. Yeah, like
when that was new, and people walking through the store.
Well, they're annoying now, right? Like, I don't want to sell any gold to you or whatever it is.
You would never do it now.
Yeah, but like back in the day, I remember that. And Foxtel too, like you said, it was the in thing.
And I got to work with guys like, do you remember Glenn Jakovich?
Yeah.
He played for the Eagles.
Yeah.
They were promoting the Fox Footy channel at the time, the AFL one.
So he'd come down and you'd look
after
him.
And I won a promotion with him on the stand, and he got to work with me for two hours. People were just interested in seeing him.
Yeah.
Not too many for me. But the stories and stuff I got from him, like if you thought some of those were bad, oh my goodness, he was so funny. What a great character. What a fabulous guy. Stuff like that. And then your sales, you get 20 even times 150
got
by
all that
20.
Traffic, coming to you too.
And then winning the right to work at the Royal Show like the Royal Show's packed back in the day, and you'd have a tent, a Foxtel tent, and people from the country, because it wasn't in the country, it was only in the suburban areas. So they get a bigger dish. You can sign up and get it. So those people from the country, they didn't have a lot going on, but sport was a big thing for them. So getting those dishes was just great. It just one sale led to another. Yeah. Someone else would say, I've got Foxtel, like I know this guy that signed me up, bang. It just worked like that.
Yeah.
And then getting into another year, you're going back to the same places. The ones that did say no, they're still saying no. Eventually you get them because you're going back to them all the time. And eventually it's been blanketed everywhere. And then it was time to sort of move on. And that's where it led me to one of my last ones. There was a lady that I'm good friends with. She's actually the owner. Her name is Nikki Green. Funny enough, a good mate of mine, Richard, he used to do all the floor preparation. He used to lift up tiles. He still does it, funny enough. Lifts up tiles, grinds floors, strips everything up, gets it all clean for our guys to come in and do their thing. Myself and him have been friends for a long time. He was my boss at that lab that I worked at all those years. We've been good mates and still are today. He got me the job at Trevors, right? But before that had happened, I had knocked on her door. She was renting. She had owned a little unit, and her sister owned a Battle Axe one on the Battle Axe block. And she had all her girlfriends over. One of them had been going through a really bad breakup. All right. And the Foxtel man turned up. They just knew me from parties that I got invited to. I had nothing to do with Trevors at that time, but my mate Richard used to invite me and I'd go along. We'd meet all these people and she was one of them. Yeah. I knocked on the door. She said, "Oh my God, John, you're Richard's mate." I said, yeah. "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm selling Foxtel." Come in. So all these girls are in this lounge room. One of them's gone through a bad breakup with her partner. And then I'm thinking, okay, I need to go to work here. So that's where it started. I was coming up with things like, look, Foxtel's not going to be late home from work. Foxtel doesn't drink. You can turn it off when it's getting angry at you, stuff like that. I end up selling to all the girls in that lounge room. From that point, Nikki said, "You need to get this guy to work for Trevors." So my mate Richard said to me, "Look, John, it was coming into winter and I was out there in the rain knocking on people's doors."
Yeah,
mate,
just a grind. Yeah.
You got an umbrella with a big trench coat and it's dark at 5, 6 o'clock. You're knocking on someone's door, knock, and it's just belting down rain. Your paper's all getting wet. And I'm thinking, can I do this? And Amanda and I had looked at getting a loan for a house at the time. This is going back. And the banks, because Foxtel tightened up their belts as well, they took the wage away from everyone because there was a lot of people pulling the mickey, laying in the park knowing they're going to get a wage and minimal sales. Yeah. So what they did is they bumped the commissions up on the actual sales and took the wage away. If you didn't sell anything, you didn't get anything. I did that for a good year or so, making that work. But it was up and down. Yeah,
harder market now.
Some weeks really good, some weeks not so good. I mean, I made it work, but you always had that bit of a pressure in your mind, thinking I need to make it work. So, that was it. Richard said, "Look, Nikki from Trevors Carpets. She was talking about maybe you might want to have a go at selling carpet and working for Trevors." I said, "Oh, carpet? I can't get excited about carpet, man. What's so funny about carpet?" Yeah. Oh, he said, "Well, you can get laid," like stuff like that. I said, "Oh, okay." Amanda at the time had helped me do up a resume because I was terrible on the computer. I'm old school. I come from the days where there was no calculators, no computers. So I liked being outside. I liked playing sport. I liked having fun. So I didn't have much interest in screens. Anyhow, she helped me do up a resume, did this beautiful thing up, and then went to Trevors Carpets to meet her dad. He was the big owner. Yeah. Okay. And I was shaking like a leaf, man. I did get nervous. Like, I'm nervous now. And Osmond Park, he's got this beautiful big office. Went in there, put my resume down. He said, "Oh, so you're John, eh? We've heard a lot about you. I have met you at the party." I said, "Okay, yeah, good." And I was just like shaking in my boots. I said, "Oh, here's my resume." He said, "Don't worry about that." He just pushed it to a side. Yeah. He's recommended you. So I'm thinking, oh, far out. When can you start? Just like that. So I don't think I've ever really had a proper interview where I've been, you're sitting in front of a panel and you've got to go back and all that sort of thing. It was just how it worked out for me. I don't know why. But
well, you do know why. Like,
was it the poo story?
You seem to have a way of talking to people and connecting with people, I'd say, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And like, you've honed that through selling stuff, and figuring out what works and what doesn't work over a period of time. I've done the hard yards, but I don't know. Like I said to you, I've known you a little bit, and I smile when I think of you.
It's so fun. And I promise I'll give you that $50 at the end of this, man. You're too kind.
You know what I mean? There's some people that are just fun to be around, right? And I imagine, and I'm sure we're going to go into it, but like from a sales point of view, that works really well. It's like, we don't care about what you've done. We already know, like, what's there.
So, wow, that's what happened. So I got the job and I had no idea what I was doing.
So you started in the store you're at the moment, or?
I started at the head office, and that's like, it was like being in a goldfish bowl. It's so big and there's all these really competent salespeople around that have been doing it for years. and I was just doing training. And Trevors had they were renowned for not training people. They would grab them from other industries that already know the job.
Okay.
I was one of the first they actually ever trained. So I had no bad habits going into there from anywhere else. And to be quite honest, I struggled with it, looking at a floor plan and working out this and that and why am I doing this? So the lady that took me, her name was Denise. She was really good. And her husband was Alan Wilkes. Denise and Alan Wilkes, they were like, he was like the big timber manager at the time of the whole company. And Denise was one of the really good salesperson, a little bit older than me. And she was beautiful to me. I could never thank her enough. She spent so much time with me learning these plans and making me understand. It must have been horrible for her because I was hopeless. I would see her like a fly in the wall and I'd be distracted and looking, hey, a fly. But she spent so much time, and I took plans home every night and I was working on them and coming back, and she would make sure if I've done it right, if I ran it the right way, is the joint in the right spot. All these little things, is it the right type of fibre for this type of carpet, for this room, for this person? Or if there was so many things, it was information overload for me. I hated it. I just wanted to talk to people and sell it and then let someone else do that part. So it took me a long time to learn that part of it. So the first 4 weeks I was at the office just doing that. I didn't even sell anything. I had no idea even how to talk to people to sell carpet. And then there was another fellow that was there who was one of the salesmen, and he was a big, tall, so one of the top salesmen. His name was Stewie. He's no longer around. I think he might be retired these days, but he had the Pommy accent. He was really good. He got lots of sales. Just looking at him every day, he was so good.
Watching him,
And he got me my first sale. I sold a rug. Oh, speaking of rugs, our shop got broken into the other day.
Okay.
It was good. The cops caught him. Apparently it was the work of a rug addict. Terrible. Little carpet joke. So Stewie helped me sell my first sale, and it was like we used to get 3% commission of everything we sold. So the rug was probably $150 or $250. I'm thinking I'm going to get this massive commission, But no, it was good. We got 3% of everything we sold. So by the time I got good at it, it took a while before my commissions come through because I wasn't selling much. I was just learning at the time. So I had to hang in there. And that's one of the reasons why Trevors grabbed someone from the industry that's already trained. They can
hit the ground running.
They're getting sales straight away. They're getting commission straight away. But to teach someone, I thought it was amazing that they let me. I don't know why, but I do believe they do teach some people now, like and back in the day. But when I first started, that wasn't a thing. So I came into it fresh, and I was learning from lots of others, taking different ideas. So that took me a good 6 months to maybe a year before I was actually confident of selling stuff and talking about stuff. I just didn't know. I didn't have it. And I remember after 4 weeks, they sent me to a store all the way in Joondalup. And when you started there, they gave you a petrol card. I said, yes, got a petrol card. And it was $25 a week. But you can just imagine that in these days. I had an XD 351 wagon V8. This thing used to chew that in maybe a day. Like if you go out and do measures and quotes in a big V8, I made that work for at least a year before I sold that. But once the commission started coming through, I started, oh, wow, this is really good. Because some weeks, some months, you would have a lot of jobs go down, and we only ever got paid after the job has been laid and paid. So a month after that, we would get the commission.
Jesus, okay.
So it was a bit of a grind, but once we got them, it's just slow on, constant. So some months were massive. You get a lot of sales in 1 month, or a lot of jobs got installed and paid for in that month. It was just great getting these little pay slips, when we got paid, and I'd show a man, and she would love it as well. So that was what kind of inspired me there for a bit. So they sent me to a place in Joondalup. It was like a warehouse type carpet shop where there was a lot of rough cuts and rolls in the shop.
Okay.
And there was a lovely guy, his name is Fergus, he was an Irish fella. Fergus Sixsmith, his name was. And he's the one who trained me up when I left head office, because I just got a basic introductory to plans and stuff. I still was unsure. But when I went to this other place, I had these two fellas. One was Fergus, the other one was Baz. I think Baz has passed away now, God bless him. This guy had the hardest handshake you've ever... You know, when you've ever reached in and shook someone's hand, it's just about broken yours. It's just like, I think it just gets in really quick and good. Mate, but the hand would but never forget that. He had the biggest mitts. So in that store, they had a forklift and we had to move things around as well as people coming in and selling them stuff. And then Fergus actually took me out and did measures and quotes in someone's home, taught me how to measure up and stuff like that. So I took that on board.
You would have loved that though. Like,
that was a good part.
Arcing back to the Foxtel days and Kirby days,
Yeah, I hated the head office part because I feel like a dumbass.
Yeah.
And everyone else was so good and, established. And I felt like they were all watching me. But over there, he took the pressure off straight away and I could relax.
Yeah.
He was down to earth, rugby fan as well.
Yeah.
Both awesome guys. They taught me a lot. So I was there for a good 3 or 4 months, just working with them, doing the job. Yeah. And then the big owner came up to the store. He'd visit the stores. And he came in and I went white as a sheet. You see me when I'm white, yeah. I was blue this time. He came in and I'm working out this plan and he's standing behind me. Like, when someone's standing behind you.
Looking over your shoulder. Yeah.
And I've got this ruler that's shaking. It's like he's put his finger. He had a big hand too. He put his finger. See that there? I said, yeah. He said, don't worry, son. After a while, this will all make sense. Trust me, it'll come to you. And when it does, you're just gonna totally relax, mate. Yeah. You're doing good, me old China. And then that was it. That made me just go in his presence. He made me feel really good. And then when he left, I just had a bit more confidence. And then when it came to someone's day off or someone was sick and I had to be there on my own and do it, that's how you sort of learn. You know, the pressure, you want to make sure you do the right thing. And then it just led from there. They sent me from that point to the Gosnells branch. And I worked there 10 years as 5 years as a salesperson. And then they promoted me to sales manager while I was there. And then the last 5 years, the fellas that were working with me weren't doing the right thing. Yeah. And it was hard chasing them and things like that. So they ended up moving on from there. And they asked me if I wanted someone else to replace someone in the store. And I said, look, I'll tell you what. Why don't you let me see if I can run this on my own, see how we go. And if I struggle, then I'll call you and we can send me someone. I did that for 5 years on my own. I ran the store. Okay. Like it was my own. Yeah. So I was doing measures and quotes before and after work. And I never told head office that. So I was doing them on my way home before work and I ran that store beautifully. But I didn't realize at the time, but all this stuff that they did actually helped me. It made me a better, stronger person, working for the company.
Okay. How come?
Just because I had to be more independent. Like I had to, if someone from the warehouse rings up and says, I need a floor plan, this job's going down tomorrow, and that person's not here to give it, I'm having to deal with that, get it sorted out, make a phone call, order the carpet. Oh, this carpet hasn't been ordered in, their job's going down.
So you're just learning more about everything, every little bit.
Problems. Yeah. And how am I going to attack those problems? How do I make it so someone's going to be happy? Look, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, it hasn't come in. They've had problems with the railway line or something. You just got to. It's nothing worse when you've got a $15,000 job. It's all booked in. You've told them about the guys you're going to use. The ones that I want to do this job. I know they're going to do a great job. And then so many things can happen along the way before that carpet even gets to the customer. And it's my job to explain that because I'm the first point of call. So got, I suppose, good because you had to do it. And every other person got good at it as well because that's part of their job. Didn't make it easy though. Yeah,
I was going to say, it's still, you would have had that feeling in your gut, like, oh God, here I go.
Or the job's due to go down tomorrow and the carpet layer is sick or the timber floor layer is sick. And then they've got jobs booked in the day after that. Yeah. So how do I come up with a tradesman? You can't make them appear out of magical thin air. You had to come up with some way of, the person's moved all their furniture out. Yeah, and they're
taking the day off work or whatever it may be. Yeah.
So that's a constant thing for us. Dealing with that. That's always in my mind. Even while we're sitting here, I know there's messages on there that I've got to deal with when I get out. Yeah. Even though it's my day off, but that's part of it. You just deal with it. It's the way you speak to people.
Yeah, well, talk to me about that. What works? What's your style there with that?
I think I'm very good at apologies and, being genuinely upset for them. Yeah, okay. I make it sound like it's my carpet that's been put on hold. Mm-hmm.
So you're sort of putting yourself in their shoes.
In their shoes, yeah. So you never know in this job. someone before they walk in the store, their dog could have been run over before that, and they come into the store and sometimes they come in like this, and with the husband or whatever, or it could be one person coming in, and they could be talking like really short and not happy and not giving you any good vibes. I try and I don't tell my guys what to do. I just try and show them what I do, and hopefully they see what I'm doing, because I think it works. I just try to put myself, like I said, in their shoes, and then deal with it from there. If someone's not in the best mood, I want them to leave with this. That's important for me. I want them to have a smile before they walk out. Whether it be carrying more samples into their car, talking to them out in the car park, doing a backspin on the shiny floor, whatever. Just try and win them over. That's my thing. We could have a difficult customer. We had one. Actually, here's a perfect example. Last week, one of my guys, unfortunately, his father was involved in a motorcycle accident couple of weeks ago. So he had a lot going on his mind, and he had some customers that he couldn't get to because obviously he's been away. Fortunately, his dad's good now. He's all on the mend. But during that week he was away, one of his clients came in and I signed them up, based on what he'd been quoted on and everything, and booked it all in for him. Because with this game, we don't always get it right. And if it's our mistake, sometimes we do make them, and we know it's our mistake. We want to fix our mistake. So we sent the guys out there to do a job, to lay the vinyl plank like you've got in your home. Yeah. And the guys did the job. They laid it the wrong direction. And the reason for this was my offsider, who works with me, because he was away, I didn't have his floor plan when I did, so there was no notes. So I just wanted to get it sorted so these guys can get it all underway. And then I thought when he comes back, he can quickly send a plan, but for whatever reason, it didn't get to them. So the guys laid the vinyl plank in the wrong direction. Imagine that, ripping up someone's carpet and everything and laying it in the wrong direction, the short way across the room. But the boys that do work for us, they're excellent. They're Korean guys, so there's a bit of a language barrier sometimes. And they don't
But there's
realise.
human beings involved, right? Like in that situation,
absolutely.
like you can understand why
a message doesn't get across, stuff happens. And I've always said to them, sometimes it's not what we can do for a customer, it's what we can do for a customer when something goes wrong. That's important, I think. And there was a few other issues, like where the floor was a bit uneven and stuff like that. So the customer had come back, and my mate had come back from the hospitals and stuff like that. He's back at work. His dad was fine. And he said, look, they've laid it the wrong direction and it's kind of rough. It looks... So he went out there to have an inspection and had a look at it. And when he came back, he told me, look, it's kind of not the best job. They have laid it in the wrong way, so we really need to change this. Yeah, absolutely. Get it changed. So we're looking in the schedule because we're quite busy. The next time we can get a vinyl plank installer is different to a carpet installer, who's different to a timber flooring installer. It's an individual trade. There's not as many of them as there are carpet installers. So it's really not as many guys doing it. So there's a bit of a wait before you can have it installed. So he's told him, look, we can do this in maybe 2 weeks. I can have someone back there and sort it out. I didn't think it'd be an issue because they've got a floor to live on. It's not going to hurt them. Yeah. The only thing is going to be moving a bit of furniture, and we'll do it again. But he kicked up and wasn't getting what he wanted. It's okay. So without any warning, we get a phone call from head office saying, look, we've got a bad review. This person sent a review, and they've sent it to all the stores, not just ours, which I don't even know if that's illegal. They asked what's going on with this guy, and said, my other partner said, oh, look, these two boys know about it. John's kind of across it a little bit, but it is getting sorted. Although my mate had brought it forward a bit, so the guy was going to get it done on Wednesday, just gone, last week. I'd picked up the phone on a Saturday because no one else is working apart from me and another guy, and I rang the customer off my own back and I said, look, hello, mate, how you doing? Look, I understand, I know what's going on. Look, I've spoken to 2 installers already, our 2 big guns. I've been able to get them to shuffle things around, and I'm going to do a few on Monday. He said, oh, really? I said, yeah, I know it was booked in for Wednesday, but I can see, it's our mistake. I want to take responsibility for that. And, we got along so well in the store. You were such nice people. And I feel horrible that this has happened. And you also went to school with one of the guys, I believe, in the store. He said, yeah, but I don't want him to be upset because it's someone from his school. I said, I want you to leave with that same smile you left when I signed you up.
Yeah.
So, look, they can't do the job in the one day. They might have to carry it over and finish it on the Wednesday, but I'll get them to finish their first job, a smaller one, on the Monday, and then they can come straight after that to yours. And, from there, he said, I already had that smile on my face, John. That was on the phone. I said, oh, awesome. So, cut a long story short, we got the job done. The guys ripped it all up, sanded all the floors again. And we did the job again, laid it the right direction. And I rang him up, because obviously the reviews. And so I did mention to him, do you think there might be a chance we could take that? I think the review was pretty harsh.
Full on.
Yeah, he said, oh, no, mate, I'll definitely adjust that, if it gets all done. So I got it all done, and I didn't think anything of it. And the next thing you know is my other business partner looking online. He said, oh, guess what? The review's gone now. I said, oh, good. He said, but he's put this up. And it was a really nice glowing one.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that to me made it all worth it. And now he said, I'll come and see you on the next room we're going to do. And I told him, sometimes it's not about what we do, it's what we can do for you if something goes wrong or something's not right.
Yeah.
So I like to think that we haven't sat on our hands, but we've moved heaven and hell here to
do it,
to make you happy. And he was happy with that. And the boys, we got a name for it. We call it Big Dick of the Week. So I got the Big Dick of the Week award. That's the first time I've ever won that award. Many
but
reasons.
just making a phone call.
So stuff like that, yeah.
So being proactive, you find really helpful in those situations.
And my mate Kieran did nothing wrong.
No.
Yeah, it was the installers that did the bad job for us.
Which happens. They're people, right?
It happens. Not everyone can have a good day, but it's if we can fix it and as quick as we can. They don't always turn out like that, but that's a good outcome, and that happened this week.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I never look at reviews ever, but I don't like hearing about them. The reason I'd never look at reviews, and I know we got a very busy, successful business, and a lot of people believe in them. I don't believe in them. Just my personal thing, not everyone else's. But I know I have these arguments with one of the younger guys at work about the reviews, my co-director partner. And I say to him, if you're going for a job interview, and I mentioned this to you before with my resume, no one's taking a bad resume with them to an interview, are they? Have you ever seen someone who, here's my resume, oh, this guy was late every day, rude to some of the customers. Who's putting that in their resume?
So what's your metric then? How do you know that things are working? How do you know your store's doing well and your team's doing well?
I know by the figures, first of all, because we get a constant, and I know by how the customer is after that job's done. Yeah. If they're happy or not. And if they're not happy, we jump on it. But I don't like looking at reviews because I don't believe they're all for real. I do know there are some companies out there that put not real ones on there. They get people to ring up for them. Can you put a good review on for us? I hate that. I can't. I've been asked to do that once in a job. I said, I don't want to do that. It's that's not real. Yeah. Yeah. So, I want to hear if someone's coming for a job interview, I want to hear about the bad things. I'll trust that person more than the one that's just got only good stuff. Only good stuff. I want to hear that guy that,
It's a good point though. There's lots of businesses that focus on that, whether it is a great service scorecard or something along those lines, right? It's, very relevant in retail. And
there's fake reviews out there.
And the fact that everyone can see them now, there's a bit of pressure there, but I suppose it's like anything. If you're focusing on a trophy as such or, and just not worrying about how you go about things. But you're right, you can see in your customers whether things are going well or not.
And if you're staying in contact with them the whole time, and if there's something wrong and you're dealing with it, you're not leaving them alone to fester. Dealing with it straight away, and you're coming up with a solution. Embracing solutions, that's what people want, isn't it?
How do you go, mate? So your team that you got within the store, you'll have your store staff, right? And that can be accounts and stuff.
The Avengers. That's what I call them.
Oh, yeah. I hope you don't do dress ups on the day.
We haven't even got to that part yet, have we?
But store staff, right? That you'll have, and you'll have accounts, and you'll have sales and so forth. But then obviously the layers as well. Managing between the two, differences. What do you find? Constantly
being a between salespeople, customers, and installers. There's always every day there's a problem. They normally call us. We're trying to deal with it. We ring the customer. Someone might rip the carpet up and there's something so bad underneath. I said, look, it's going to cost more than what we said because obviously we couldn't see what was underneath, and dealing with that, and then maybe getting a separate person out there to do that so they can put the job on hold. So, and then installers can sometimes be unhappy. They might have done a job which required more money and stuff like that. And there's so many things that can come at you at once.
Yeah.
My superpower is, and everyone has one, mine is a cup of tea. Now, all the boys know this. I have a cup of tea. I drink that. I don't talk to anyone. And when it's finished, I can normally solve the puzzle. It just gives me a time to decompress and think. But if I don't have a cup of tea, then it comes out wrong, or I just need. And you know when you've got a problem, sometimes you can't sit down and talk. You've actually got to walk around, like this. Walk around. One of the guys, Sky, he does it all the time, and it's not necessarily a problem. It's just a habit for him. We counted the other week 18 times he walked out of the office and back in. But when he comes back in, he's talking really loud on the phone while we're in there, and he walks out. Just stay out there and talk and walk around. And it's like I'm doing it like an orchestra, and everyone's just giggling and laughing. He doesn't even realise he's doing it. Then I tell him, but he's a great fellow. We've got a really good team.
Yeah.
Like Sky, he's one of my co-directors, and Adam, he's the other partner. We're like brothers. Like, everyone has issues when they go to work with someone, right? It's all about looking past that and trying to work together and make a good outcome. And our two sales people are excellent as well. We got Kieran, who sits on my right, and Raymond sits on my left. All different types of characters. It's a team that works so well. We've all got a good sense of humour. You need to have that in the office. We've all got a different strength. Raymond's is sometimes you've been working hard and you've got plans on your desk and people are coming into the store. You don't feel like getting up and serving them. Yeah. It's a mental thing as well. Like, I don't know if I can get up and talk again. I've got so much on my mind over there. He'll get up before anyone gets up and talk. He's so nice with people. He's so good. And that's his superpower. He is so good. And they're relaxed when they're with him. He's really good like that. And we've all got our little weaknesses, but the strengths of the guys are excellent. They far outweigh any weaknesses. Yeah. Sky, he is incredible with his knowledge inside here. He's an ex-timber flooring installer as well. He did 15 years of laying the timber floors for Trevors Carpets before we poached him and got him in as a director. Yeah. His father was my partner. And when we both trained him up, and when Gary retired, Sky pretty much hopped into the hot seat. Yeah. So if we got like a problem with timber flooring and we need some advice, the fact the whole office has got so much experience between us, or can bounce off Sky, with timber flooring questions, technical stuff. And he's like one of these guys that's right into his AI, and like he's just like wired differently to every single person I know. Yeah. Never gets upset. He's just like, and very fun. He's a fantastic fella.
So I imagine there's probably a little bit of and maybe not to the same extent as what you had with the with the stuff with the prosthetics and so forth.
Oh yeah.
But like you're trying to bring in that good, like you've had people there for a long time that have progressed through. Like you're really just trying to have a really fun environment.
Yeah,
there,
and
right?
There's no skeletons. Everyone tells their stories, and it's always funny. There's always a laugh when there's no customers in the shop.
But that camaraderie is important.
Camaraderie is excellent. Yeah. And Adam, who sits next to me in the office, he's my other partner. He's amazing as well. He's very cutthroat, like straightforward with he's good with emails and all that side of it. And he's good with the finances and stuff, whereas that's not really my boat. All I want to know is I'm getting paid, and I'll just keep doing what I do and it all works out. But he keeps an eye on that sort of stuff. He's good bringing meetings together and stuff like that when we really need to have one. He's excellent.
Mate, that just thinking about it, like that frontline retail work or whatever you want to call it, like that could be a burnout role, right? Yeah. Like dealing with people, like, because there's the good and the bad, and the ugly, right?
There's good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But then also too, it's like it's a high price point. Like it's something that's going into someone's home, right? And it's not as though it's straight off the shelf. Yeah. There's a wait period, and everyone wants it quick, and then it's got to be installed, and things can go wrong there, and stock. Like there's a bit going on, right? Like, and if there's so much that can go wrong, like if you guys don't have that, bit of fun environment and optimism, like you'd be all burnt.
And the experience between us all is so good. Like Yeah, Adam used to work. He was in the same boat as me when I came into Trevors Carpets.
Mm.
When I came into the business, what happened was Gary, the older guy that I used to work with, and his business partner back then, Joe, this is 14 years ago, they poached me from Trevors. So I rang up the big boss of Trevors Carpets to tell him I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I've loved it here. But the boys over at Willetton offered me a share in the business, looking at wanting to go. He says, "You're not going anywhere yet." I said, "Oh, I'm not." Here's me shaking again. I kind of think, "Oh, I want you to come and see me on Tuesday at the big head office." And I'm thinking, "Oh, West Night. I want them there too, and bring Amanda, and we're going to have a meeting in here. I just want to make sure you're not getting ripped off."
Okay.
So this is the type of company I'm working for. So we went there, met them all on site at the office. So Ray Green was in there, his daughter Nikki, who's second in charge, and the general manager, Steve Potter at the time, plus Gary and Joe and the wives and Amanda and myself, all in this around this round table. I didn't even have to say anything. Gary, he laid it all on the table and told Ray exactly what they were doing and where they were going. They needed someone there. They tried employing people, it wasn't working out. So the accountant at the time said, maybe you need someone that's looking for something different. And that was like someone with a part share. So he laid all that out on the table and explained it all. I didn't have to say anything. It was a massive weight off my chest. So I didn't want to have to go through that. Yeah. And at the end of the whole meeting, and we all looked around at each other, and the big boss looked at me, "Well, John, I don't want to get in the way of something really good. You have our blessing." I said, "Oh my God," I just breathed a sigh of relief. I couldn't believe that. And it was just...
But how nice though that he cared that much. He didn't have to have that meeting. He didn't have to invite everyone. He didn't have to do any of that.
Yeah, he didn't have to. And at the time, when Gary and Joe had invited me in, the very first meeting, they invited me to the Willetton store, like for a bit of a Christmas drink. And they used to do it. I turned up there. I said, "Where is everyone?" He said, "Oh, you're probably wondering what this is all about." I said, "I'm still here." So it was just myself and them two boys on that side of the table, and I'm on this side. And they explained why they got me there. They wanted me to be a part of it. And they went through it all. And at the end of it, I said, "That sounds amazing. But if I try and explain this to my wife when I get home, it's going to come out like this." And she's going to say no. I said, "Can you explain what you said to me tomorrow night, but with her sitting next to me?" And they said, "Yeah, okay." So I brought her back the next day. It was good. So... And they picked me out of everyone in the company. I don't know why they picked me. Well, I honestly don't.
I think
there's so many better salesmen.
Maybe you should ask him, John.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to know. Like, it's a cool subject, that, as much as we don't like to, I don't know, but we think it's probably a little bit too egotistical to figure things out like that, but you've obviously earned it in a certain way. So there's all something.
Yeah, so the next night, explained it all over again. Amanda was sitting next to me, and on the way home, we're all getting excited. And I said, "Oh, I don't know if we really want to do it." She said, "How many times are you going to say no to something that is good in your life? This is something good."
What was it? You just worried?
I was just worried. Wasn't sure, where I was going to be with that, how it was going to turn out. But I did always know that a lot of things in my life is I just put my foot in front of the other one and I just dive into it and go see what happens.
Figures itself
out. A lot
out.
of things I've done. This is no different. So on the way home, got home, and then the next day rang the bank manager. "How much can we loan?"
Yeah.
And he laughed his head off. Oh, he was laughing. He was laughing all the way to the bank. So he's giggling and carrying. Said, "Oh, what's wrong?" It's John. You guys only just bought an investment property. Like, we maxed out our equity of our own house back all those years ago. And he said, "You got no equity. We can't lend you the money." I went back to the guys. I was so disappointed, so flat going into work. "Mate, I just want to say thanks. I'm absolutely flattered you asked me out of every person in the company to be a part of this. And I would jump at it at a heartbeat, but I can't afford it, man. The bank manager won't let us." And I said, "But I'm flattered. I hope you find someone good, and I'll give him my blessing, mate, but I'm sure you will, because that's a really good opportunity." And then left it at that. It went 3 weeks later working. I get this phone call from Gary. He says, and didn't say anything. I said, "Hello." He said, "It's Gary." I said, "Oh, yeah. How about if we loan you the money and all the profits you make go back to paying the loan back?" And I said, "That sounds like it's going to be a lot." "Oh, yeah, it's going to be a lot," he said. "But are you willing to, it sounds like it's going to take a long time. He said, yeah, it'll take a while. Are you willing to do that? I said, oh, look, I need to talk to Amanda first. So got home, told her all about it. And I said, oh, should we do it? She said, well, this is another one of those things you need to say yes to. I said, because that's a really good opportunity. So I said yes. And then that's exactly what happened. It took 5 years and 3 months. And for the last year of my loan getting paid off when I was working there, all I did was, because we had the kids at that stage. I was 40 years old and Lily had just come along. Goodness, she's just come along. So Jack hadn't come along yet, but all I remember was Amanda was working full-time, I was working full-time. We're on the treadmill of life.
Yeah.
And there's a massive loan with a big interest rate that we had to pay back. I just put my head down and just one day at a time. And I knew I was getting close to paying this loan off. And I remember telling Wendy, who was one of the wives of one of the other partners who worked in the shop as the accounts manager at the time. And she said to me, John, because I started growing a big beard, I said, when are you going to shave that ridiculous thing off? I'm like, look at it now. It used to be black. I said, I'll tell you what, Wendy, I'll shave this off when I come in one day and you tell me the loan is paid. I don't want to know how close I am. I just want to walk in one day and you say, shave your beard off. Yeah. And that's what happened. Came in one day and Gary and Wendy and Joe were all smiling behind, like at the desk. I said, what's going on? And I'm looking, first thing you're looking if there's something on my hair or is it a boogie on my nose or something. And she said, shave your beard off. And the tears just rolled straight. Even today, I still get a bit emotional.
Good on you, mate.
It rolled down. And then what happened, I rang Amanda and she couldn't believe it as well. Yeah. Went home that night and I've got the photos in my phone. I'll have to show you later. I shaved off half a beard. And I walked around for a few hours like that. Like,
doing the ABBA thing or something.
So I was going up to people. I was going, what do you like about guys with beards? And this lady would say, I hate them. I turn around this way. What about now? Stuff like that. Yeah. So, that was amazing that day. It felt like we climbed this hill.
What a grind to get through that, like with kids and unknowns.
And to me, my goal was, I never told Amanda or anyone at the time, I just wanted to give her the option if she wanted to work or not. That's what it was. It made me sick seeing her go to work and we got these little kids we're throwing in daycare. I wanted to give her an option to not have to work. And that gave me the option. And then from that point, she only lasted like 3 months or so. She can't keep still herself. So she went and did extra study to go work in the hospital. Yeah. So, which was good. It gave her the option of doing what she really wanted to do at the time.
Without the pressure,
So, the pressure was off straight away. It was just like, we can breathe deep.
Oh, it must be nice to be involved with a group of people, though, that, believe in you that much, mate. Like, how nice.
It was incredible.
Yeah, you should ask them why, though.
I should ask them why.
Yeah. And you'll know. It won't be a surprise to you. But
it was, that was a big thing. And that loan, because I didn't think about it those 5 years and 3 months, I only thought about it when Wendy brought it up. Do you want to know how close you are to your loan? I said, no, please don't tell me. I just want to know, I want to come in here one day and it's just done.
How does looking at doing a bit of research before, your store, right? Yeah. Within I think 6Ks, there's 10 other stores, right? Yeah. And national chains and all that. And Trevors is a WA owned and operated and 5, 6 locations, something like that.
Yeah.
But competing against those bigger players,
all the big guns that are Australia wide. You got companies like Carpet Call and Flooring Extra. There's Solomon's. There's quite a Carpet Court. And there's quite a few shops.
What works for you guys doing that?
I think because that amazing fella that used to scare me when I go into his office, Ray Green, he started it all off in 1977. That store was the first one to open when Elvis died and when Star Wars came out.
Yes.
Love that film. And I guess he just built an empire on the back of that shop and opened up another one. And he was just a guy, he used to be a postie. From Collie. Yeah. And him and his wife put everything on the table and
how to crack.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about Trevors Carpets is because we got these two massive warehouses here in Perth, which is far bigger than anyone else's. We stock so much more than everyone else.
So your lead times better.
We buy a lot off the factory, and because we buy a lot of the factories, we get a better price than everyone else. So you go to a lot of shops, right? And I've seen it so many times with these sales guys. They start up at a price up there, and then they come down to here to make it look like you're getting this amazing sale. Trevors, we're already here. There's no need. But we've still got room to help you. We don't need to do all these ridiculous lines and like if you sign here, press hard 3 copies. This is it. You don't have to come in aggressive. It's always been a family environment. That's what they've put through all their customers, people that work there all those years. When I came in there, that was the vibe. In fact, once I reached 10 years with Trevors Carpets, and that was the 10th year was the year that I bought into, so I did 10 years as an employee, long service leave, baby, here it comes. And then that wiped all that out. I used that as a deposit for my loan. But when I did all that, once I signed up and was leaving, the big boss said, you're not getting away with leaving Trevors Carpets without having a big party for yourself. I said, well, I'm not really going anywhere. I'm still with Trevors. So I don't know, but you've done 10 years here. You're still having a party. Okay. All right. Okay. So we went there on a Friday after work and all the staff were there. And they had this beautiful big card and everyone signed it. And inside there was a check for $3,500. At the time, I didn't know this was going to happen, but once you reach 10 years with Trevors Carpets, you joined a 10-year club, right? Anyone that's been there for 10 years and more get to go on a special trip somewhere around the world with their partner, along with all the other people that have been there 10 years.
Oh, goodness.
And they treat you like a king and a queen for that week where you're taking the spending money. And they've got these amazing events that they've organised while you're there. Like Nikki Green, she's amazing. And her sister, Mandy, I should never forget Mandy, she's amazing too. They would go and organise where we were going to stay. So they would test these hotels and countries out where we were going to go for the week there. And then that was it. That was where they were going to do them. So they did them every 2 years. It wasn't just a one-off thing. So I've been on 4 of those trips. But what happened was when I got to my 10th year before I bought into it, I thought that was it. I'm done. I'm not going to get to go anywhere. I missed out on. I heard about them. So like you get there for like about 7 years and you're thinking I might hang on a bit longer so I can do one of these trips. Everyone just says how great they are. So I hung in there and I said, oh, how could I do that? I should have waited. So not everyone could go on that 10th year anyway that I'd handed my resignation in because it just didn't work out. So they organised it for the year after. But when I opened up that card, there was a $3,500 check and Ray said to me, you made your 10 years here and we feel bad that we didn't have the trip this year. So I still want you to take Amanda somewhere. And then after that, I thought they were definitely done. I'm not with the company. I'm sort of with a franchise on my own. But I still got to go on those trips. Like I went on 3 or 4 of those. It was incredible.
So things like that, just that family environment
Family,
and how much care they've put into that.
So good. And still to this day, they still have that vibe when you walk into the shop.
What is that difference then? Like what are those little particulars that you find?
I think first of all, buying stock off the factory is really good and not advertising on TV. Okay. You don't see any ads on TV for Trevors Carpets. And ads cost a lot of money, man. And the saving of those ads was put back towards a saving for the customers. We had not only buying power, but we could still negotiate lower prices. That helps. And then Ray didn't want this situation where people are trying to stitch people up to get a signature. There are some companies, I won't mention who they are, is they send their guys out there to do a measure and quote to someone's house, right? This is part of what you got to do. It's a bit like that Kirby thing. And you have to stay in that house till you get that sale. Sometimes the husband's not even home. And, they're putting pressure on someone in there.
Really?
But they want it when there's 2 people home. And they'll come up with things like this. Hey, they're talking to someone over east, the factory. Yes, Max, just check the stock for me, please. The people here need 26.5 metres. Can you just check that, please? Talking to them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm here. Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, okay. Well, can you make sure you put that on hold? Yes. Thank you. And then you go, look, Mrs. Smith, sorry to do it to you, but there's no more of this stock getting made ever again. There's only 25.6 metres. Like this. So because it's the end of a line, what we'll do is we'll do a real good deal for you as well. So you tell they're actually not, they're talking to either their mate on the phone or someone else over there. But we need to get a deal off you tonight, otherwise this is going to go. And then they've got the contract ready there to sign up.
Just pressure.
I go, we we go to someone's home, we measure up, and then we leave. I don't want to be in there any longer than I have to. I said, look, I've got to work it out at the office. Oh, do you have a rough idea? I said, I don't like giving really rough ideas because if I go too high, then you might be upset. And if I go too low, then it leaves me underdone. I'd rather give you an exact idea, but I need time to spend on there so I do the right thing. So sometimes, but most people are pretty good. Oh, yeah, no, just get back to us. Here's my email address. But these guys are under pressure because their commission structures are different. Some of them are on like, you're only going to get paid your commission if you sell this many meters a week.
Yeah.
Let's just say you have to sell 100 meters of carpet a week and you fail that, you'd sell 99.9 meters. You don't get that commission. Yeah. That's the way they work. Whereas Trevors were great at the start. We just got 3%.
And I imagine too, mate, without like advertising the word of mouth, just from the reputation you have begins, and that's
the word of mouth was excellent because
that's your advertising, right?
Because we didn't advertise on TV, we used to throw these ridiculous Christmas parties, invite all the builders, everyone, suppliers, reps, and everyone be talking.
Just get to know you.
That's the advertising there.
That's good, mate. Dealing with issues all the time, like you mentioned that a few times, and it's like, it's a bit of a challenge, a bit of fun, like hard.
Sometimes my job is making people smile. I want that customer, even though he's not happy with his job, I still want him to be happy with me. Because when you get an angry customer and they've got something wrong with their job, that's really hard to deal with. And then that puts the person who's dealing with that offside. And then you've got this butting of heads, and I don't want that. I'd rather them be friends. Look, just let me sort it out. You're okay. I'm sure we'll get there in the end. There's nothing we can't do with renovations. There's always something you can do. And it's something that can be fixed. If you can just be patient, I'll make sure it's worth your while. Even if I throw them a free rug, depending if the rug addict has been in there and stolen stuff. Little things like that.
Always just trying to make it smoother. Getting to know people seems to be, like, I don't know, I can't remember what you said about what your superpower was, but like getting to know people, building a relationship, connecting with people. With what I do with my business, right, is like you've always got to have that pipeline of work, and and probably doesn't come natural for me to necessarily market. And
it certainly sounds like it comes natural because you're just so easy to. Seriously, you're one of the easiest guys to be around. What really blows me away, sorry to interrupt, is, if I don't say I'll forget, is that whole South Perth Academy for the juniors that you've taken your time out to show all the kids all those different skills that they may not have known, which they probably should. The way you project onto those kids is amazing, man. And my kids, massive example of that, how much they adore you as a person and a coach. What you have taught my children in such a short space of time regarding their football is incredible, because for years they've been coming down as a junior, and they're not listening to me. I'm trying to give them advice. They're not hearing that. But you've come along in that little block of weeks and you've changed, especially my girl, Isabel. She's very quiet and reserved most of the time. She's a lovely kid, so mature, a really good person. She's very coachable, I think, because she's a good listener. Just that simple thing where you were telling them the dummy X, stop in between, show them the ball so that people behind you don't know what's going on. She has taken that on board, and I've been watching her games. She's only played, 4 games this year so far. Her deception with those are incredible, and she's now using it as part of. And I knew she had it in her last year, and I've been telling her to do it, but you brought it out.
That's awesome to hear. Like it's I don't know, like I sort of relate with you a lot just about with what you're saying about building relationships with people, right? Yeah. Like and that's the thing is like we're always big believers in that, is we can know how to fix things or help people with their leadership or support them with their team. Yeah. Like we can have all the stuff in the world, but if we can't connect with someone, they're not going to want to listen, right? And even more important with teenage girls, right? Yeah. Like they're hard, they make you work for it, in regards to it. But thinking about, what you've been talking about, and I'm sure other business owners are the same, is like that comes pretty natural, like actually building a relationship, the importance of it, but then taking it to that next step of, okay, well, selling, your product and what you're doing and things like that. Like, I don't know, like how do you view that? Like
the product information is important. Once you learn that, it's kind of like doing that script with Kirby. Yeah. Like once you learn about all the different products, I suppose the longer you've been there, you learn off other people and take bits from here and bits from there. Yeah. You feel confident about what you're talking about.
So that segue though, Johnny, from like getting to know people,
Yeah.
connecting with them, to then, okay, selling them something.
Yeah, yes.
So how do you find that? Like, what's the...
This, to me, you hear about people, I want you to close the sale or close the deal. There is no such thing as closing a sale for me. Yeah. I've never, ever gone by that. I don't think I close sales. I just became their best friend until the sale closed itself.
Okay.
I don't actually go, can you, if you want to go ahead with it, let's get it done now.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to do that now, this is a good price, my best price. If I do this for you, have we got a sale? I've never done that.
Yeah.
In my whole life.
Your focus is on just building that relationship, and then that stuff will look after itself.
I feel really bad when I ask for someone's business. How bad is that? If I can give you this price and we can do that today, would we have a deal? Yeah. I've never ever done that. Talk about it, let it go, and the deal will close itself eventually. So sometimes you may not get it in the shop. Yeah. A couple of days later, you get a phone call. John, look, we want to go ahead with that. When can you come out and measure? Yeah. And I'm right then and there, I know that the deal is closed.
What about follow-ups, mate? Like, do you do a lot of that? Like, as in, a quote goes out, someone comes in, you've had a good interaction with them, quote goes out. Are you following up after a week or so, or that sort of thing, or you don't?
I send out the email. Normally we hear back. That's probably something I probably should do, is follow up a lot more. I hardly ever do it, really, be quite honest, because we are so busy, Green. We are so busy with all the inquiries. We've built a train of inquiries. Yeah,
you don't need to. Was that always the way, mate, where you guys just had all those leads coming in, or that had to build?
It's a bit of both. I've never followed up even when I was working for Trevors on my own, because especially those last 5 years, I did it on my own. I didn't have time. I know some guys coming from other industries, they're really hard on people doing follow-ups. There's something internally inside me. You know how I was saying I don't like to ask for people's business like that. I like to just close it naturally. It's the same with doing a follow-up. I find it, for me personally, I find it embarrassing ringing up someone a year later. Oh, look, we never went ahead with that. Where are we with it? For some reason, I can't bring myself to do that. And something I probably need to work on because...
Well, I relate because, and there's a few business owners that I know that we have this discussion about, okay, well how much is too aggressive? Hey, I need this work though, or hey, is this something that it's going to do more harm by following up as such?
I think to myself, I want to sell to someone the way I want to be sold to.
Yeah.
So I don't want a pesky salesman ringing me up after, well, look, I told you I'm not ready for it. Yeah, I'll let you know. A year later, you're ringing them up again. Oh, mate, I lost both my legs and my arms in a car accident. I can't do it. No, I'm scared of that phone call.
You'll just focus more on new opportunities and things like that, and not so much.
I just know that they're being handled in a way where they can always come back to us because I've left it in a nice way. So
it's been a good feeling.
Yeah. Oh, look, we spoke a year ago, because I did get a lot of that. Oh, you spent so much time with us.
Thinking back to you leaving school, like at year 11, finished up year 11, and then, where you've gone through, like what you've explained, mate, like you probably would have never, ever thought, obviously, where you get to.
This is what makes people laugh. So I've got to cut in there. Yeah. What you just said then. A lot of the times people are talking about their story of what they do, and they ask me, what do you do? I says, well, I've chased my dream. I said, oh, cool. What do you do? I said, well, I always knew when I left school what I always wanted to be was a carpet salesman. They look at me with this part. I keep it with a straight face, and then they laugh afterwards.
Yeah, it's sort of funny. Like you said, you got some, teenage kids, and they're going to make some decisions soon. It sort of just finds its way, doesn't it? And you go to a point where you have a knack for sales and getting to know people, and then now you own a store and running a store and leading a team and doing all that stuff, mate. Like there's a bit going on there.
There's a bit going on. Like my dad said to me, if you've got a good heart and you're kind to people and you've got good work ethic, you've got 2 hands, 2 legs and a brain, you'll go a long way in this world. Yeah. And I believe that because, we all know someone we all have a friend or know someone. I'll use this as an example. I got a guy from school I went to school with, and he used to hang out in our little group. We're all mates. Even he was one of our mates, but he was an arsehole. Like, he would be the last one to put his hand in his pocket to buy the round of drinks, or the pub was closed and it was his turn to buy, or he'd missed that. He'd borrow things off you all the time, and and he was always a bit of a dickhead, like starting fights and stuff like that. And there was a good side in him, but you didn't see it much. So And then you've got the other guy who's busted ass broke, gone through a marriage, divorce, but he'll still give you the shirt off his back, and doing it tough. And so people will lend him their trailer or something to help him because they know he's a lovely fella and he needs it. You do anything for him. The other guy is going to go through life where he probably thinks everyone's an arsehole because no one ever lends him their trailer but he had no idea people think like that because of the way he acts. I think if you've got a good heart, it comes back to you. If you don't, you miss out on so much goodness.
Yeah, what do they say? You get back what you give out, isn't it? Or something along those lines. Yeah. No, it's some wise words from Dad, mate. That's for sure.
I just read that off Sunrise this morning on the way here.
Oh yeah, that's the daily quote come up. Yeah,
everything's stolen for me. There's nothing that's new here.
Nah, and they're the best ideas, mate, and it's a nice thing to live by. But mate, no, it's been a pleasure getting to know, and again, we've known each other for a little bit and known what you've done and stuff. But yeah, there's so much there that I didn't know, which is the fun part of this stuff. So I appreciate you being really honest and open with all that sort of stuff. And it's been a pleasure to get to know you even more. So it's fantastic. So Trevors Carpet, Willetton.
Trevors Carpet, Willetton.
We'll put some details in the show notes and all that sort of stuff. And
also one plug for my mate Ian Driscoll at Retro World in Carlisle. He'd be great to be on here.
We'll have to look into it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll send him the link. So, no, thank you for what you're doing in public spaces now. And I mean, who would know this is in Les Murdy? And we're talking about people chasing their dreams. I'm pretty sure this is a dream that you're living right now.
Oh, well, I don't know. Like
it's amazing.
It's probably not a dream I probably thought of. It's probably a nightmare I thought of, mate, doing something like this. But it's I really love it and really grateful I get to talk to people like yourself.
This is so good. I've got to say, this is probably the best day off I've ever had, or the start to a best day off. You forgot to ask me too before we go what I do on my days off.
Yeah, what do you do on your days off, John?
You never ask. So a Tuesday for me to get away from that, side of it.
Because 6 days a week you work, right? And hours wise, you're 9 o'clock through to 5:30. You're open.
Last night 7:30, 7 o'clock. Got home 7:15. I was in Vic Park measuring up.
So store hours are one thing, but then before and after, you're doing a lot of stuff.
Sometimes people can't be there for whatever reason. After hours at the office, doing paperwork, trying to get stuff before the next day's coming in. When the store is closed and the inquiries have stopped, the phones have stopped ringing, people have stopped coming in, you got all this stuff on your desk. You need to sort of try and get some of it. Yeah.
And you love paperwork, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm slow. I'm slow on the computer. I'm slow with writing my plan. I need to do it in an order where I understand it all and it comes out good. Yeah. So that when someone picks up that floor plan, like an installer, he understands it the way I do. If the plan is not written properly, it can cause issues for the person opening up early the next morning. There's nothing worse coming into the morning at Trevors Carpets and the phones are ringing before you've even opened the store at 7:30 from installers. Oh, where's this address? Yeah. What is this? I can't read this, or something that's not clear. So but my days off, I like to come to things like this. I'll go for a go-kart race after this. Go-kart racing. I'll do a workout in the park just to get my mind off stuff. I'll think about what costume I'm going to wear when I pick up the kids from school. So,
what are you thinking today?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I turned up to Jack's school dressed up like Indiana Jones.
Oh, really?
The hat, the shirt, the jeans, the boots, and the jacket.
Oh, goodness.
And I just don't have the whip. But Isabel and Lily are scared. They're like frightened for me when I pick them up every Tuesday. There's always something. So a couple of times I dressed up as John McEnroe.
Okay.
When Isabel was in year 6, and I was outside a classroom and all the kids tapping her on the shoulder. Hey, you see your dad's outside. Look. And the teacher's just giggling.
Oh, poor kids.
Great. That's my days off.
You're embarrassing, Dad. No, appreciate it, mate. And I appreciate you giving some of your day off with me, mate. It's
a pleasure.
I can't thank you enough. So
thanks again.
Beautiful. Thanks, Johnny.
Thanks again. Oh, Angry Tie Pants. Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow or subscribe. And if you know someone else who would enjoy it, send it their way. We really appreciate the support.